reason why we'll continue to see growth with Ripple. And all this also points to Ripple's future success. But the big one, the one that I think matters the most, is that Ripple is going to start doing this with American companies. Now that they've got a little bit of a monkey off their back, they're going to initiate, and now they have the reason to initiate a lot of new partnerships. And I think, I heard this on a couple of podcasts this week, is from attorneys that looked at this, and they even say, these attorneys and a lot of these legal pundits, saying that this now is better than a 50% potential opportunity for Ripple and all of these different companies, including banking and also investment capital, to move forward with their roadmaps. So think of it in terms of altcoins, different types of digital assets, NFTs, brands will start flowing into this. There's just so many. If you guys have not watched our Ripple Effect videos, go back and watch them. We just did them earlier this week, and we did one last week. And it kind of breaks down kind of the things that are going to be really affected over the next few years. So definitely huge happening, and of course it's right on the heels right now, right on the heels of the XRP growth. Here's an interesting point. I thought this was intriguing. I did some research on THUient T, put this image together, which shows show you guys some insights on how they can settle payments with Ripple Net. And then, of course, XRP and other payment rails. You can kind of see the framework here. I'll just jump down here. Lots happening here with VoltPay and how it ties into the current banking system. And again, this is old legacy systems. I know a lot of this is really geeky for you guys. What it boils down to is that our money system is getting an overhaul right now. And blockchain and a lot of these related companies, including stablecoins and CBDCs, eventually will be part of this overhaul. This is why is digital asset holding and also betting on a lot of these new technologies, whether it's whether you look at XRP, Stellar, others like that are moving in different layers. All of this is moving into one place, and that is, think about this, with USDC as a stablecoin, if we get a passage of that, what does that affect the most of? It starts to apply into ERC20. ERC20 being what? Ethereum. Ethereum is starting to affect all these other trickle-down aspects of technology, everything from layer 2, transaction volume, all those things start to come together. That's why I think we are in a very, very interesting time right now. This next bull run is going to be one that I think will be pretty huge for opportunities. So, a couple other things here. Bill bringing strict rules to cryptocurrencies now has been submitted to the U.S. Senate. We'll be covering this. Again, we talked about this earlier, and we've been doing it. Yeah, by the way, if you haven't followed our playlist on all of our hearings, we actually have a full playlist down in our YouTube page where you can get access to all of our breakdowns of the hearings. It'll catch you up really quick of understanding what's happening. This was a new bill prepared by the U.S. Senate, shared some of the rules in the bills with its leaders. Decentralized finance protocol will have an app to apply like bank-like rules to their users, according to this new 23 date. CoinDesk reached the bill called Crypto Asset National Security Enhancement Act. This is another one that's starting to broil. It has emphasized that these rules are critical to fight against crypto crimes, money laundering. Of course, again, biggest money laundering asset out there is the dollar. If a DeFi protocol is not controlled by anyone, then anyone who has invested $25 million in the development of the protocol will be liable for these obligations. This is a big one as well, going after the DeFi sector. So you can start to see the pressure that this technology is putting on society as a whole. I think it's a big one that we'll continue to see a lot more interest in. U.S. lawmakers now proposing SEC Chair Gensler's legislation, not enforcement approach to crypto. We talked a little bit about what Richie Torres is doing there. A couple of tweets here. SEC cannot continue to regulate by enforcement. I think a lot of this is now piling on, mainly because of what happened with the recent ruling by Judge Torres. But I think this is getting into a state right now where a lot of things are about to change pretty big. This, of course, we showed earlier, but after the Ripple decision, it's critical that Gary Gensler engage with Congress to ensure digital asset users are protected. Legislation would do a lot more to prevent the future collapse of digital asset firms and enforcement actions further. When they get into that, this was the letter that we showcased about how that's going to change the future there. And I think this is all benefiting, a great movement in the aspect of digital assets in general. I'm just really trying to understand what they are and how they'll be used. But I think right now, lawmakers have finally started getting into a position where they're a little bit more caught up. Another story right here, NASDAQ suspends the launch of its own cryptocurrency custody, which is interesting and intriguing in a way that almost, if you'll remember, almost all of the ETF filings were using Coinbase as their security for custody. So is there something there that maybe is playing out in Wall Street, or there's some deals being struck? I don't know. It's just kind of unusual that they mentioned this. During the Q2 call, NASDAQ postponed the launch of its digital asset custody business due to regulatory risk. This quarter, considering the shifting in business regulatory environment in the United States, we made the decision to halt our launch of the U.S. digital assets custodian business. But at the same time, you've got the case with Coinbase going on right now, that most likely under these new rules is going to win. So how does this not play into a great opportunity for someone like NASDAQ? I don't know. I'd love to see if there's other alternatives.
All right, and
this is Wall Street. Nobody does this just out of the book. There's a reason.